Three, two, one. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another wonderful episode 3 of Nefarious Reels. I'm your host guy, Ninja.
And I am other host guy, Cole.
Yep, that's him. And we watched two terrible movies once again. And we'll start with the first one. My recommendation: Ghosts Can't Do It. Direct.
Starring Donald Trump in his best role pre Home Alone 2,
Yep,
Lost in New
that's
York.
what your review said. I saw that. Yeah, this is directed by a guy. I don't remember his name, but the lead
John
act,
Derek,
yeah, John Derek, and the lead actress is his wife, Bo Derek, and
who I found out is 30 years younger than him.
there's also Anthony Quinn. He's in it too.
Is that the old guy?
That's the old guy. That's Scott.
Okay.
Let me just give a basic synopsis of Ghost Can't Do It. Katie, played by Bo Derek, is married to this older man, Scott, played by Anthony Quinn. And Scott gets a heart attack and learns that he can't get a heart replacement because he's too old. So he just kills himself. And he ends up in a purgatory where basically, he ends up in a purgatory and he can communicate with Katie, and only Katie can hear him. And they concoct a plan to kill someone, so that way Scott can possess their body, and then they can be together again. And hijinks ensue, kind of. So what'd you think of Ghost Can't Do It, Cole?
Boring. Very, very, very boring and stupid. That's like the first thoughts I could think of.
The first two things. Yeah, it is kind of bland. I mean, I like the beginning of it. Even if it's a bit stereotypical, we get the nice snowy mountains, which I always love in movies because I live in California and I don't get to see snow a lot, so it's always nice to kind of see it.
Yeah, unlike Wisconsin, where we're getting a snowstorm at least once every winter.
Like, it's opposite. You probably love like scenes where they're at the beach because you don't get to go to the beach.
Like, yeah, we got beaches here, but not the California type per se. And it's especially more reminiscent when it's wintertime and we're seeing these beaches, and it's just like, man, I want to go down to that 80-degree weather where it's just nice and breezy. You got the blue water in front of you.
Yeah, it's like the film's in like kind of three different stretches. You have like the snowy mountain stretch where basically Scott has his heart attack right at the beginning of the movie, and where he also has Katie bite his lip. I wrote that down. Will you let me bite your lip? And he gets a shot in his belly, which he hates.
Yeah, the shot can only be in the belly.
It can only no, not the belly, only the
No,
arm.
it has to be in the belly.
Yeah. He's kind of sounds like. Did he sound like kind of like James Earl Jones to you?
At like points more when he was in ghost spirit form, I guess. But it wasn't as deep as what James Earl Jones would be like.
But yeah, let's break it down. Let's just talk about the film in sections. We'll start with kind of our pre-suicide, our post-suicide, and then our random business side plot, and then the rest of the movie.
Yeah, especially
Because
the
it
side plots
isn't
that.
just as, even though like in my explanation I talk about how they come with the plan to kill someone, it gets sidetracked for this business thing that only kind of comes up out of nowhere and then kind of becomes the focus of the film for a bit.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, they kind of forget the whole story for like a good portion, like 30 or 45 minutes. They just kind of forget what the main story is about, just to do this subplot with the business. But it's like to remind everyone that, oh yeah, she's inheriting the husband's business now, I guess.
Which I don't think they ever really mention until like that point when the business thing happens.
It's like super brief. And then they're in Hong Kong at some point meeting Donald Trump, and then 10 minutes later, she's about to get assassinated.
No, she's not gonna get assassinated. She's going to get drugged and eat like sleeping pills. Well, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves here.
Okay,
We're starting at the beginning.
let's get back to the beginning.
Where basically we're in like the nice snowy mountains. He gets a heart attack. He doesn't want to get it in the belly. I don't know. There isn't like too much. It's basically kind of like, oh, here's their relationship, and look at Katie's different weird winter outfits because she's like, I don't know. Do you have like 5 different winter outfits, Cole, as a fellow, as a snowy Wisconsin person?
Not really. My usual winter outfits are just like one jacket, and then usually most days I'm just wearing a sweatshirt and sweatpants all day
Yeah,
with long socks.
cause she's got like the cowboy get up, and then she's got like this like red weird like hat thing, and then she has like another one where she has like a dog like hat on her head. She's got 5 different like weird winter outfits that like that are just so weird
Mhm.
looking.
Yeah, kind of looking at the filming locations, it's also taking place in Wyoming, which I kind of guess why she's got the cowboy stuff on.
Yeah, probably.
Very kind of like Brokeback Mountain esque, where they got the jackets, the boots, the hat, and I guess they had like a farm too, wasn't it? Where they were kind of taking care of some animals
Like
along the way.
cattle ranchers.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, I don't know if that was their business or what. They never really explain what the business is.
No, it's just a business.
It's just, the business.
Yeah, the business.
Yeah, basically the first stretch is basically watching Scott kind of deteriorate and having to come to terms that he's got this shitty heart and it's gonna kill him from like this heart attack. Which is also kind of amusing because he'll get like really angry and then all of a sudden he'll just become happy again. He'll be like, "Let me see that. These pages are worthless to me." Yeah, no, it's okay. It's fine. I'm good. I'm good.
He probably wanted to do that so I didn't kill him quicker.
Yeah, he wanted. That's possible. He had like these like great mood swings. It just kind of always came out of left field. But basically, it's all mainly just build up to when he kills himself because he makes the decision. He leaves a note with a whole like explaining to his wife Katie that I don't want you to see me suffer and I don't want to suffer and I loved you. We talked about this. He has this one line that I found was hilarious that I wrote down in my notes where he goes, "You are my cake," and then Katie goes, "You son of a bitch."
You are my cake.
Yeah.
Genius writing right there.
Amazing.
Genius.
Well, you have to understand, he was about to kill himself. He had to make every word count.
Yeah.
Oh, I should also know, I'm looking at my notes. I also wrote down this random thing. I put she's fucking the dog. I mean, think about it. She spends a lot of time. There's a lot of time when she's like with the dog. She has the dog in the car with her when she's like driving back to the place before he kills himself. It's entirely possible that she might be secretly fucking the dog.
Let's please not get into some kind of bestiality subplot storyline. No.
Oh, you don't want me to go off on my secret conspiracy theory that Katie's fucking the dog?
No, I mean, I think we got a pretty good one last time with that Confederate dystopia in Garbage Pail Kids.
Okay, I'll hold off this time. But yeah, after that, there's the funeral, but turns out Scott's in like purgatory because killing yourself is a bad thing and you shouldn't do that, and that's kind of holding him from heaven, but he's not going to hell yet. It is explained by the fledgling angel that he has with him. And
yeah, and it's very funny when you get those shots where it's him just as a ghost. It just basically looks like it's in a dark room with a light kind of flashing in his face.
Yeah, it's a bit goofy.
It was very weird looking.
That's when,
and it's even more funny when she's like looking off in the distance when talking, and they're like, "Who are you talking to?" Him right over there. It's like, do they see him too, or are they just kind of playing along?
It's like really weird because she makes no effort to hide it because that's what you kind of think. You want to be like, oh, try to keep it like on the down low, don't let people figure it out. But she's like really like blatant in front of like a ton of people about what she's talking to this guy. She just tells him, I'm just talking to my dead husband. And everyone kind of just rolls with it.
Yeah, they don't think she's like a schizophrenic or anything, or has some kind of disorder where she could talk to the dead or some kind of medium.
It might just be because yeah,
that's normal.
She misses her husband and she's coping with this by thinking she's talking to him. Maybe it's like that.
But sympathetic feel.
They never really express that feeling. It seems like they're just like, oh, okay. But basically, they go to the beach. Like basically, he's like, you remember where we're gonna go before I blew my brains out? He's like, well, I can't go there now. And then they pretty much go there anyway. Well, she goes there anyway, and he's able to go because, he's following her around. And when at the beach, she says the line, she says the title of the movie, and I'm pretty sure she says it topless. So you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, you get a lot of weird topless shots throughout, like naked body. It's even more weird. Like I get that's like her husband's the director, but it's even more creepy when he's doing that. It's just like, yeah, just get a shot of that body. It just felt pervy to me.
I mean, you did say last episode the cover looked like a porno, so
It did. Yeah, well, the one on the poster on Letterboxd was like weird.
yeah,
The one on IMDb is a little different because it actually looks like a movie.
but it's really skirting the line.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to the where the plot really kind of kicks off, where we get introduced to our main bad guy, I guess, who's not
Donald Trump.
No, not Donald Trump. We're not even that part. You're jumping ahead too quickly. No, it's that like
Damn.
one guy. He's like Sir Fernando something. It's like some I don't remember his name. It was too complicated. I just referred to him as curly hair guy.
Shirley here.
Yeah, he basically is just this like first he's just like kind of a guy that's like interested in her cuz I guess she's like crazy. And she doesn't like him cuz I guess he's an asshole, though like not really. But then Scott's like, "Wait a minute. What if I possessed his body and then we can like get together?" Which is kind of how the actual plot of the movie starts to move forward at that point.
Yeah, so we're on the beach. So we're on the beach and all that, and
We get into
she finds what might be a mate, I guess, or a body to fit in for him.
well, not specifically yet. That's kind of the idea kind of formed there, though it does come later where she just straight up tells the guy, "Oh, well, you know what we're saying? We're just thinking of how we should possess you by like killing you." And he's like, "Oh, neat."
Yeah, again, he just plays along. Yeah, thinking that's not weird. They're gonna kill me. Okay.
Oh, how can we forget the great line where she goes like, "Possessing a body, isn't that a little too kinky? That's not really like for us."
Oh my god.
Who can forget that absolute banker of a line?
No one really remember that. There's nothing memorable about this.
Yeah,
It's so boring.
yeah, but to help us make us feel better about this curly hair guy we're introduced to and how they're contemplating killing him because he's hot but he's an asshole, don't worry, there's a later scene where Katie is looking through all her jewelry and the curly hair guy's spying on her and gets to hear about how much value the jewelry she has is worth that she can like sell for a ton of money, which makes so it hints that he's the bad guy.
Oh yeah. Bad guy.
Yeah, bad
You
guy.
gotta set up somehow. Even if it's in the lamest way possible.
Yeah, that's true. The next scene kind of is where it starts setting up the business end, which happens in a
Yeah,
scene where
I was just saying like the brief introduction of the business, not even explaining what it is.
yeah, and it's in a really weird scene where she's like bathing in like a hot tub jacuzzi thing outside, but it's raining.
Yeah. That
That
was like why?
like
Why
it
is
was
she
a
doing
hot
that?
day. It was like sunny out, but it was like cloudy. You can tell it's like raining, but she's bathing. She's got like a bar of soap. She's wiping herself down. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It might just be like maybe like a region thing, but I don't think that's like really how you do it. But that's
Yeah,
really
I'm never sure either, so but I don't live in hot weather areas, so
well. I mean, we normally don't like do that unless it's like for the funny. But I don't think that was the intention that Katie was going for. But yeah, the business gets introduced and they're really rich, and that's when we get introduced to arguably no, probably the best character of the movie, Winston,
yes.
which is another old guy that kind of has the hots for Katie, and they actually have a really fun dynamic throughout the film. But they fuck it up, but we'll talk about that later because they go to Hong Kong for this business thing. They left the ranch to go vacation in some island, and now they left the island to go to Hong Kong, where we
To
get to see Donald Trump.
business stuff. The
Business stuff.
former president.
Well, not at the time. Future president.
Future president then, former president now.
Yes. Donald Trump is in this movie. And
And it's so
honestly,
funny because I was like scrolling through just IMDb while watching it, and then I see Donald Trump. I'm like, oh my god! And then I'm waiting, and then it gets to that, and I have my Eric Estrada "There He Is" moment.
there he is. Honestly,
Uh,
not that bad. In fact, for the short time he's there, he was pretty funny. I don't know why he won a Razzie for it.
Wait, he won a Razzie for
He
this?
won a Razzie as a supporting actor, and he got
Whoa!
nominated for like up and coming actor, but he didn't win that one. He won worst supporting actor, which made no sense because honestly, there are way worse supporting actors in this film than Donald Trump.
Yeah, they're like before. There's not a lot of good performances in this, and Donald Trump is honestly probably the best.
Yeah,
I
he's
would
only in
say.
there for like 2 scenes.
Yeah, it's like 5 minutes of screen time, and
I mean,
well, how is he worst supporting actor?
maybe
That
I
just
don't
doesn't
know.
make
Maybe
sense to
because
me.
he's just a random kind of celebrity guy. Maybe that's why. I mean, I can't explain the
Maybe.
Razzies. I don't know. It's more valid than his other Razzie awards he got from like 2018, where basically they just pretty much gave him
Oh,
like the
use
worst like
footage of him in a.
in a documentary pretty much, and it was
Yep.
just oh, we're gonna give him a Razzie because we hate Donald Trump's presidency, which is just like even by 2018 kind of standards, that's like pretty like bottom of the
Hmm.
barrel at that point. Like, I don't know, why don't you
Like
give
I
it to someone who
understand.
deserves it than just appealing to like I don't know, maybe the demographic of people watch the Razzies and people who hated Donald Trump is a bigger margin than I think, but honestly, I don't really
Hmm.
think so.
Like I understand why they did it, and I don't like Trump as a person myself, but that's kind of stupid just to nominate him because of the whole he's a controversial president, and well, then again, the Razzies aren't really a very credible
Yeah, I
movie
guess,
ceremony.
but like I feel like at that point, why even have a ceremony about this if you're just gonna go for like the easy low hanging fruit?
Because they wanted to dunk on him.
What they should do, they should let us take over the Razzies. Let us host it.
Yes.
We'd
Yeah, because we'll
probably,
actually watch the movies unlike the committee does there.
yeah. But we got horribly sidetracked. Donald Trump
Okay, yeah, back to
is good
Hong
in
Kong.
this movie. Honestly, even though we're crapping on the business side plot, I think that was probably the best part of the whole movie was the business side plot because there's some weird stuff that happens in that.
It's at least interesting. Even though we don't know much about the business, it's kind of at least intriguing to know what they're doing kind of on the side, along with being this married couple and being like cattle ranchers, I guess, in Wyoming.
Yeah, maybe
They got
that's their
something else
business.
going
It was
on.
they are like billionaire cattle ranchers.
Well, he was probably, and she was like the trophy wife.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably, but they loved each other. I don't know. The best, arguably my favorite scene is definitely the assassin character coming in because
Yes, the
he's introduced
assassin.
so weird. Because first he's in apparently the women's locker room because Katie goes for a swim after doing a meeting. And they're like, we're gonna go
Hmm.
have another shareholder meeting later to like settle it because they're the shareholders are going after what she has parts of the company that she controls now because she's in charge of the company that she inherited from Scott dying, which is why Winston's there because Winston's trying to help her out. And then later in the movie, when she goes for a swim. Some of the guys, not Donald Trump, but the other guys, they hire an assassin to go drug Katie, so that way she misses the meeting, and then they, I guess, get the company somehow because I guess rescheduling just isn't a thing in Hong Kong or something, or the
No, you
business of
have to
Hong
come
Kong.
at this exact time, or we're never doing business again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how business works.
And how does Katie meet the assassin? Well, the assassin watches Katie shower in the woman's locker room.
You
And
could
then
even say he accidentally walked in the ladies' room.
he's like, "Oh no, the men's one's over there." And he's like, "You want to be in here?" He's like, "Yeah,
Yeah, that's not weird.
yeah." And then he just pulls out a gun.
And then he pulls out a gun as like stormtrooper aim as she dives into the pool again.
No,
With the towel on too.
he doesn't like shoot at her. She just pulls out the gun and then she just runs off and then she hides in the pool behind like the pillar as if somehow she wouldn't be easily seen. And I had a concern that they were gonna do. Oh my god, is she just gonna like run past, even though she's blatantly, obviously right there? But they didn't. And then we have the weirdest exchange in the film where she tries to figure out. It was like, if you're not here to murder me, then you're here to. I don't know if we can say it on YouTube, so we'll just use a different word. We'll use grape because it has the word inside it. Or you're here to grape me, and then they just bicker about that for like a while until basically it was just like, I just need you to take these 2 pills, and Scott's like, Katie, don't take the pills. And then when she tries to fight back against him, like he threatens her, is like, if you don't take these pills, I'll give them to you like a suppository. And then when she fights back and fails, she says it again, and then we cut to a scene with her lying in bed with her ass up in the air. So it implies that he went through with his threat,
Yeah, basically.
but somehow she wakes up because Scott's like, open the vent and you'll like get cold air, and then they win somehow.
Because the good guys always win.
Yeah. Well, no,
Oh,
they
yeah.
beat them, but you don't beat Donald Trump.
Oh, yes, you can never beat him.
You can't beat Donald Trump. Oh, how can I forget the classic Donald Trump line he said at the first meeting is, there are knives here sharp enough to cut you to the bone, and hearts ice cold enough to eat yours like hors d'oeuvres.
Like,
Classic.
how can you tell me that was a terrible line?
That's like an absolute banger. I'd put that on a t-shirt.
Like, it's better than what anyone else ever said. Like, their line delivery was bad. His was actually okay.
Yeah, what the heck, Razzies?
Then again, it is the Razzies, so
It is the Razzies. They're pretty low bar.
very low bar.
Yeah, after that scene, we get to what I thought was gonna go with the plot was Winston kind of confesses his love to Katie, and the direction I thought the film was gonna take was that Katie would decide, no, killing is wrong. I'm falling in love with Winston, and Scott, even though he's against it, learns to accept this and is able to move on, knowing that Katie's happiness is fulfilled. Spoiler alert, that's not what happens with this movie.
There is a weird note I did have based on like the main plot of the movie, and it reminded me, did Wonder Woman 1984 take inspiration from this movie? Because they had that same kind of thing almost, where Chris Pine's character, his soul went into some other guy's body, and then he and Wonder Woman were doing their adventure quest. And even though it's not exactly the same as this, it's just very weird how those storylines are almost similar
Here,
from a movie in 1989 to now.
let me see if Bo Derek is in Wonder Woman 84.
Oh, please.
Because if she is, then that would like confirm it pretty much. No, she's not. She is in
Darn.
Orca, the killer whale, and 2 Sharknado films.
Oh, great. Ooh, those might be some future ones we talk about, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see, but we save that for another time.
We'll say that. So unfortunately, she was not in Wonder Woman 84.
Bummer.
Or is she? Maybe she has like uncredited role or something. Or she has like she's going under an alias.
Yeah, kind of like a Jane Doe kind of thing.
Yeah, Bo Derek was actually Gal Gadot the whole time.
She was just the double, but they put Gal Gadot in the name because she's more marketable.
Yeah. Gal Gadot was her stunt double.
Okay, so we're after the
meeting.
Hong Kong sequence, after the meeting.
Winston says, I love you. I've always loved you. They fly in a plane and talk about it. Then they're on a train and they're talking about it. Then they're on a boat talking about it. And then they make it back. Where we kind of go back to the main plot with the curly-haired guy.
And trying to find a way to kill him and possess his body with the old guy's soul.
Yeah, but first, we need a dance sequence.
Yes, I was about to say that. It was like Flashdance almost inspired.
It was really, really weird. And then there's that like one like bald guy who I thought was like trying to creep on her, but he's like a priest and he's like, you are possessed by the devil, you she witch.
Oh, and then he goes in that whole charade about cleansing herself and
she just rolls with it and it's like, don't, okay, yeah, sure. I'm cured, you cured me. You did it, priest guy. And he's like, huzzah. Now I'm gonna like and now I have the devil inside me. And that was like really weird, made no sense. And I guess that was how Winston got turned off from Katie, because it never seems like he gets that close to her ever again after that.
No, and then we just kind of get to Katie and the curly haired guy and seeing how their relationship will blossom eventually.
Well, no, what happens is her friends, that if you remember from the funeral, end up visiting her, I guess. Where we get the main friend we're going to talk about is the White Witch, who just believes her straight up. Oh, yeah, you're talking to your dead husband. I should know. I'm a White Witch. And basically explains that the only way that a ghost can possess a human is the moment of death is when they can possess it. So we do have like a time frame here.
Yeah, they give you like some kind of rules based on how to properly transfer souls, I guess.
Yeah, so it's like when the time of death happens and the original soul leaves the body, the new soul can like come in and take it over, which turns out to be kind of complete bullshit. But we'll delve into that later as well.
Yeah, imagine a movie following its own rules and in any way, shape, or form. All
Uh,
right, so to the witch. All right.
yeah, so the witch during their like baseball game, where eventually Katie leaves to think of the plan to kill the curly hair guy with rat poison, as Winston and the best friend character end up hooking up like during this time.
Mm-hmm.
Which has the funny exchange where she imagines how she's going to do it and she's saying it out loud, and then we get revealed that the curly haired guy's just right behind her like the whole time. And pretty much he sets off an alarm because I guess there's a black pearl in a fishbowl. He sets off an alarm which alerts people that, oh, something's happening at Kate's house. We gotta go there and check it out. And this is where Curly Guy goes for old villain. And he's like, I'm going to. What was he gonna do? Was he gonna grape her? Was that the implication? I don't remember. He was gonna do
Uh,
something.
I watched this on Monday and I kind of forgot.
I watched this yesterday and I forgot. Uh,
I I would believe the first option you said. I don't know what else it would have been. Maybe killer. I'm not sure.
I don't think it was kill her, but I think it was definitely grape, because I remember he does say, "I hope you're this much fun in bed as it is to get you there." He says something along those lines, so I feel like it was to grape.
Yeah, that seems a lot more believable too.
She basically tries to shoo him away before getting a gun. I think it didn't really look like a gun. I first thought it was like a harpoon thing or something. But she's unable, despite Scott telling her to do it. Come on, do it, kill him, shoot him. She can't do it because she's not a killer. Even though in a fight they do have, she does hit him with a club and has the perfect opportunity to poison him, but she just can't do it. Which leads to
Yeah, I don't know why she couldn't, because she's like, wasn't that the whole point?
yeah, I
To
know. Well, she
kill the
was
guy and
always like kind of on the fence for pretty much the whole movie behind the idea of like
yeah.
killing him. So like in her defense,
Okay, fair enough.
of course, when she fails to give him the rat poison while he's like unconscious, and everyone shows up so she can't do it, Scott gets really angry, and then he says a line which I wrote down. He goes, "As you kids call it these days, I'm out of here," and then just disappears. And that's when he stops communicating to Katie. But after that, the fledgling angel says, "Well, you're probably gonna go to hell because you have one foot in hell because you been pushing for a murder this whole time." And basically, Scott ultimately comes back, and Katie strengthens her resolve and just blatantly yells out loud to everyone that she is completely ready to go to hell for Scott no matter what, and she wants to fucking kill the curly hair guy. And then she pretty much kind of steals a boat to pretty much go to the prison island that the curly hair guy is supposed to be at because of the whole breaking and entering and attempting to grape.
Yep.
Only plot twist, he's not actually there because he was let free by the this character we didn't talk about, the mayor.
Oh, right, that guy.
Yeah, we completely forgot about it. He's kind of just there to be kind of like a bumbling kind of fool. He's like, "Oh, hello. Yes, I am the mayor. I care greatly about you and everything." He's just kind of there, and then he kind of releases the curly hair guy.
Just to keep it more interesting, too.
Yeah, just keep her interesting. But what becomes funnier, because basically it's like, oh, you're never gonna get back in time on the boat, and he's like, I got a better idea, and then all of a sudden she's just in a plane, which I just assume she stole too.
Would not doubt that.
Well, she stole the boat, so I assume she also stole the plane, which is the ones that land on water. And then later she's driving a truck, and so I assume she stole that too. I assume she just stole every vehicle on her like rampage to kill. And basically, she goes to the mayor where she learns that the curly haired guy is at the Pearl. What was it, like the Pearl Reef or something?
Good grief. I can't even remember the
The
sets, too.
Pearl Farm. It's like something. She was there
Something
like
like
earlier in
that.
the movie. And pretty much when they so she goes over there, but it turns out the guy got tangled up in the nets and died. And so the moment of death has already passed and it's like too late, and I guess Scott's gonna like disappear forever. But Katie brings the curly hair guy back to life, which I guess somehow allowed Scott to possess his body, which means the
Yeah, his
whole
soul comes in, and then his voice, like, takes
yeah,
over the
they
body,
dub
too.
him, and I do not understand why
It looked so bad because, like, the words did not connect with the lips.
at all. Also, the White Witch
Oh, it
saying
was
that
so
you at the
weird.
time of death's the only time you can possess a body turned out to be bullshit because they brought him back to life, and Scott was able to possess him.
Yep, and there it is, just breaking your own rules right there that you implemented
Yep.
into the movie, and then breaking that 20 minutes later.
And then they go after the success. They get married. They go back to the mountains and they fuck. Roll credits.
And then they live happily ever after. Yay, and we're happy for these people, I guess.
I guess. I mean, it was pretty convenient that, oh, Katie, you won't have to go to hell because he just died on your way over.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, and it's noted I showed you, but in the credits of the additional cast, it has that one line at the bottom that says, and yes, that really was Donald Trump.
And then I sent to you that they should start doing that for like every celebrity cameo that's in a
That's
movie.
what they should have done in Bullet Train. Have you seen Bullet Train?
I have not yet.
Well, do you care if I spoil something?
I don't care.
Okay, Ryan Reynolds is in this movie at like the very end for like 2 seconds, and he has served no purpose except for like a joke. And
Okay.
they should have had Ryan Reynolds like on the front of the movie poster and have him like top billing.
Yeah.
That's what they should
Just
have done.
just crowd that poster even more.
No, just Ryan Reynolds. He's the only
Just
guy
Ryan.
in the poster.
No, just Photoshop the Ryan Reynolds pick of him in Free Guy, but like make it look like him in Bullet Train.
Yeah, that would have been pretty good. But yeah, roll credits. That's the end of the movie. Anything you want to talk about Ghost Can't Do It? Or anything that you feel like I missed?
Let's see. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else in my notes that might be, but honestly, I think we hit everything. I mean, we went through the whole movie one by one, and
Yeah, I'm looking through my notes too. I put a complaint about how the DVD copy I got doesn't come with subtitles, which like sucks.
yeah, I watched it on Tubi for streaming, and yeah, it didn't allow closed captioning or subtitles either. I was like, come on.
Which said the Blu-ray probably has it, but unfortunately it's out of print, and the worst kind of out of print, where it's also people who are selling it are making it really expensive. It sucks.
Yes, there
That's
is.
only an issue for like me. Only I care about this kind of
Mm,
stuff. But still, let me see Ghost Can't Do It in 1080p with subtitles.
yeah, there was actually one note I noticed. The opening credits text, just like the all like the title cards, it looked bad. It also looked really bad, like very amateurish, like something like Microsoft Paint you would have seen
It really had
almost.
a yeehaw cowboy opening.
In the snowy mountains of Wyoming.
Probably.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, hopefully, I don't know. I like the mountains. The whole film should have took place on a mountain. Screw the beach.
Screw the beach, screw Hong Kong subplot, screw Donald Trump, even though he was the best part, unironically.
Yeah. Well, Winston. Don't forget Winston. Screw
Yes,
Winston.
Winston.
Screw the White Witch. Just screw this whole movie.
Screw everybody.
Speaking of screwing, let's talk about the next film starring Kevin Spacey.
Yes. Yes. So this one was my pick, the Billionaire Boys Club, or as we've been referring to it as Kevin Spacey's Billion Boys.
Billion Boys Club.
Yes, so the film mostly follows Taron Egerton and Ansel Elgort as Dean and Joe Hunt, respectfully. And they were these former high school friends. They went to this very
Prestigious.
preppy boys high school, and then they meet back up about 6-ish years later. They create this company called the BBC, also which is known as the Billionaire Boys Club.
Well, first it's like it's based off a different thing. It was like something bicycle club, but
There were a few names they were coming up with that Kevin Spacey was saying that I kind of forgot some of the
and
names.
of course he stopped it at Billionaire Boys Club.
Yep. Yeah, so they create the BBC and they recruit their douchey, preppy, stereotypical finance bros
Yeah,
to invest in this company, which is a way like a get rich quick kind of scheme.
a Ponzi
And then,
scheme.
yep, and then some stuff goes south pretty quickly. And this was a very interesting thing that I main reason I recommended it was because its box office returns on its opening limited weekend. Do you want to take a guess how much it made?
$234.
126 it says on IMDb in its
Oh,
limited US theatrical release.
dang! Second guess.
And it screened only in 12 theaters in 12 US cities.
Dang, sounds like I missed my chance to catch this in a theater. No, I just
Yeah.
got like a Blu-ray from Denmark to watch this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's why invest in region-free Blu-ray players, people, so you can watch things like this in 1080p as they were meant to be seen.
Yeah, but like the main reason I picked this movie was because I heard a lot of bad stuff about it, but mostly it was the one of the first movies that got hit because of Kevin Spacey's reputation going down the drain with a lot of allegations coming out and him being just a total creep.
Yeah, a lot of bad stuff. Any grapes?
I don't know exact.
I
I don't
know
think there
there's a lot
were.
of
There's a
I
lot of like harassment and misconduct stuff.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's hidden underneath there. If there's like more to it. I mean, we don't know. I think didn't all his accusers commit seppuku?
I think so. There was like some very like weird coincidental stuff that happened once some of those allegations went out, and
We
but
better.
then again, he's not really doing much lately. So
That is true.
the
Uh,
only thing I've seen lately was that Peter 5-8 trailer he had a couple months ago that I don't know when that's releasing. It was supposed to be like his big return, and it still looks bad.
I don't know, but keep going. Keep going with your explanation. Enough about that guy. We'll talk about more of him later during the best part of the
Yeah,
movie.
yeah. So we can definitely get into the meat and potatoes of this, and basically the whole movie for like the at least first half seems like a ripoff of The Wolf of Wall Street, with how Taron Egerton's narrating everything. He's trying to be that Leonardo DiCaprio, Jordan Belfort type of broker guy, and he's like over explaining everything. He's
And he's just
talking
like,
about his childhood and how his parents got them into this elite prep school, and then that's how he met Ansel Elgort because they were two guys that didn't belong in this school system, and now they're both successful after getting a quality education.
yeah, and then how he meets up after trying to sell a guy a car, and then he's like, then, like fate, we saw each other again.
Yeah, that was very funny. Like they're just he's meeting that one guy, and then he just sees Ansel Elgort's like, "Oh, hey, dude! Like, what a coincidence! Let's start doing business together." And then I'll take you to this Halloween in July party where we dress up as the Reagans.
No, what it is basically they chat, and he's just like, you're working at Wall Street, and you're still living with your dad. He's like, I'm gonna help you out. I just before we continue, I do want to point out this is probably one of the most normal movies we have like covered so far in comparison to everything
Mm-hmm.
else.
Probably
For
like the
better, for
most
worse.
almost competent looking movie, but it's still not that good.
Yeah,
Like
but
there's a lot of nice looking framing and blocking in some of its shots, and the costume design looks all right, but that's like me just grasping at straws and what was interesting about it.
I mean, it's really hard because it kind of goes a little like a lot of things happen in this film, but it kind of makes it feels like it goes by too quickly. Like it's kind of hard to digest like everything that happens, and I feel like I'm like forgetting like chunks of the movie or certain chunks.
Yeah, there were definitely a few points where I was like having to pause just to see what time I was at in the movie, and I was like, why are we like doing all this other new stuff 50 minutes in when we still got some other stuff from 20 minutes ago that we didn't really get too much into?
Yeah, there's a lot of like cliche stuff too that it's like I kind of saw coming. Like as we talk about like the party scene and then he bombs it, and then later like when he gives them like here's the 10 grand of like apology money from the guy at the party. And then they invest it in
Mhm.
gold, and then they lose the money, and then he's
The
just
gold
like,
market tanks, and then Ansel Elgort's about to give the money back, but then he's like, "We're gonna make this Ponzi scheme." As I'm thinking this in my head, as I
no, what
put
happens
a
is, yeah,
another
he brings it up,
splash.
but the one I'm talking about is when he's just like, he doesn't know about the money. He's like, he deserves to know. It's his investment. He doesn't know. It's like, you gave him the money, which is like a cliche, like, I'm going to give you
Hmm.
this. And it's like, actually, he didn't actually know, but I just gave you the money. But the gold scene's a little funny where it's like, oh, it's on the rise. And it's like, oh, we have to check, we need to cash out real quick before, like, in case it changes. And then they go to Kevin Spacey's place where they get introduced to him, and when he looks at the
Yep.
newspaper, which apparently I'm guessing,
Oh, I love that.
and then all of a sudden it basically is like, oh, the entire gold market has crashed in the amount of time it took for Kevin Spacey to get his newspaper in like the
And he like
hour.
looks at him just like bad investment.
No, it's weird because apparently it's like on the uptick, assuming like that day as they're driving over there.
Hmm.
And then by the time they get to Kevin Spacey's place to stop there, it's like it's already down. It reminded me of going off on a separate tangent, but it reminded me of one of my favorite scenes from a movie that's really boring that came out this year, Fall. But there's a scene where
Oh,
the
that
main
one.
female is kind of because her husband dies at the beginning of the movie, and she like
Okay.
listens to like his call, his voicemail from his cell phone that's no longer surface. In the film, she's at the bar and she hears it, and then she gets confronted by her dad at the bar about like what happens. And so when she
Hmm.
drives home and she calls the number again, it goes, I'm sorry, but this number has been disconnected. Like between the span of when she called like an hour ago and when she like went home, it was great. Not as effective as in Billionaire's Boys Club, but it's still kind of funny.
Yeah, that is a little funny.
But it also had the dumb joke where it's just like, here's this grand antique. There's only like 15 in the world. Don't drop it. And of course, he
And
fumbles
then,
it
oh yeah, right.
in like
Yeah,
the
he fumbles
worst
it,
way
but then
possible, too.
he was like almost backing away as Kevin Spacey's trying to give it to him, but he's also like bringing his hands back where they can't properly, where he can't
The
firmly grasp it.
director in the scene is like, okay, you need to like to fumble this. Is like, how
You
am I
need to
going to
look
do
like a
that?
fumbling klutz.
Also, we only have like enough footage for like one take of this, so don't mess this up because it looks really bad when he fumbles it because it doesn't look like he even tries to like catch it.
Hmm. And then the way Taron Egerton acts, he's like, right, we got to do this in one take. I got to look shocked.
And it's like, you're insured, right? And then the twist is like, because I was like, it's gonna be revealed it's fake, right? That's gonna be the twist. And then it's
Yeah.
like, oh, actually, it's fake. They're all in museums. Haha, funny.
Yeah, they're all in these museums. You got pranked.
But yeah, they cook up this Ponzi scheme. They decide to lie about the investment because he pretty much the 10,000 is now only worth 5,000 now, and he writes him like a check that he's really gonna go. Goes like, here's what's left of your money. But he lies. Is like, this is the money you've made so far. The remaining 10 grand is still in gold. And they basically just lie to convince these guys to like invest in their company, the BBC. And
The British Broadcasting Company.
oh, I was thinking big back cock, but okay. That's what I was thinking. I was like, please, please, just say it, because that's the whole thing. Is like, what does the BBC mean? And he has this whole gobbledygook about like it's not part of what it means. It's what people are gonna be asking, and that's what you're gonna sell them.
That's what I kind of like, though, when they made it like a mystery about what the abbreviation means. And then Kevin Spacey ruins it by saying, oh, it's the Billionaire Boys Club,
He has a bunch of
as I come up with
insulting
it.
names like the bumbling bitch crew or something. But yeah, basically they formed this like company and they like managed to build it up and get it like successful. And there's a bunch of kind of business jargon. That's kind of when I started zoning out of the movie. Unfortunately, kind of the best parts of the film are Kevin Spacey. Unfortunately, he sucks as a person, but he's a decent actor. So even in a
He's
bad role, he's still,
all right in this, even though the script is pretty bad.
yeah, he's a charisma sponge. He just soaks up like all the good stuff in this
Like when it
movie.
was him, Ansel Elgort, and Taron Egerton, they all seemed all right on the screen. Everyone else I just thought was very off.
They're all like either stereotypical dude bros or just people there to say their lines, like for the thing.
Or then you got Emma Roberts, who's just kind of there to be like the girlfriend of one of the two dudes that
The
you're
love
following. And
interest that, of course, has a falling out with who she's in love with.
yeah,
Another stereotype. They see each other from across and she's interested, but she doesn't get a chance to talk to her because.
and then he does one suspicious thing, and then she's all over him.
Yep. What other main things happen before the one big moment where everything goes downhill? You know the one scene I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. But even before there was a line that I did write down from the movie that I thought was just hilarious.
Yeah.
And I think it was Ansel Elgort who said it, but it was, fuck old money, let's make new money.
Oh, yeah, that was a pretty nice line.
I was giggling at that part because he did not sound convinced in that.
That he clearly did not like that line, but he had to say it. This is my smart business line you're going to say. Really? Yeah, come on, it's really good. Old money, let's make new money.
It's so stupid.
Yeah, but everything works really well in like the company, and Kevin
Everything's
Spacey
going uphill.
invests in it with his $43 million.
They're getting all these other guys. They're getting this one guy, and they're basically helping pay off that guy's kids' college funds to go to grad school and all that.
Yeah, he gives them all the money. He gives them like a second mortgage and like the and like his kids' college fund into the company, and that's when things kind of start going downhill because it turns out the 43 they well, first they do a big company merger to they purchase out some big company, and then he gives a really like crappy speech to like the shareholders. He's just like, I know you're thinking we're like young, but you know what? You guys suck. He doesn't even say how they're going to do better, or even say anything along the lines of, we're going to improve everything and make you money. He's just like, well, we are a bunch of 20-year-olds, and you guys couldn't do your thing well, but our company's really good. And then they all clap, and I was like, why are you clapping?
Yeah, that was
He didn't even
funny.
say anything good.
Yeah, he was just all like, yeah, you're old. We're all under 30. We're taking over, all right?
And they're like, damn, I
Like,
want to invest in
wow.
this guy.
Life changed.
But then, as things start to fall apart a little, we get the bombshell. Kevin Spacey, turns out, didn't have $43 million. In fact, he's kind of full of shit. And basically, also, he's like wanted in like 3 states. He has warrants in like 3 different states for postal fraud, which is the only one I remember because it was the goofiest sounding one.
Well, it's even funnier because he almost like foreshadowed it too, because he's saying like how you get rich by cheating the game, and that's almost kind of what he did, but not really. And then he gets invaded by Ansel Elgort and the club doorman.
Yeah, the doorman who becomes the buyer. Basically, they get really angry getting screwed, and they kind of come with like this plan of how to get like the money back, which helps leads to the best scene of the film where they beat up Kevin Spacey. They force him to sign a check for a ton of money, and then he gets shot, and Kevin Spacey gets shot in the face.
Yeah, that actually startled me for a second because I was like, oh my god, that just happened.
I was kind of expecting it was going to happen. Considering
I just didn't expect it like at that moment, though.
And then they drive his body out into the middle of nowhere, and then they pour a bunch of acid on it.
To make sure that no one finds the body.
Exactly.
And they think no one's going to ask any questions where he is.
Yep, and this is where everything starts to fall apart because they want the check so that way they can try to get their company out of the hole because they're actually now in debt because they don't have that $43 million. But things don't work out like that because guess what? The check they got bounced, which is where we switch to a different point. We forgot to talk about Iggy or Izzy. What was that guy's name? The guy from Iraq.
Yeah, Izzy,
yeah. He's brought up earlier in the movie.
or he's referred to as the Persian on IMDb.
Oh, but yeah, basically they decide a different plan is to help Izzy smuggle his dad, who's like wanted in Iraq and the US, to like smuggle him out to like LA to try to get the money they need. And that also goes south because first the dad doesn't want to go. He changes his mind after they try to smuggle him in a case, only for him to black out from getting too high.
Yep. And
and
then they put him in that box because they're like, just fuck it, we'll do it now.
and then he
And
basically
then
falls into a
they
coma.
put him in the truck, and then yeah, they thought they almost killed him, which was also kind of stupid because they didn't give him really anything to breathe in. He was just in a shut box without any breathing holes. And then, yeah, he's in the coma from overdosing.
And then we get our scene where it's like, this is
And then it
where the
just,
story splits apart. Except we only get like one side of the story. So,
yeah.
and what else really devolves from there? I don't remember. That's like an empty stretch in my brain. Like I know how the film ends, but I don't really remember how we get to that point. Basically, at that point, the company's about to collapse. The original dude bros basically start to leave, and then
Yeah, rightfully so. They smartly get out of it.
yeah, and it's interesting to note that the one dude who's watching the dad, he leaves to get high, which is of course just when the dad wakes up and he attacks him, and of course the Elliot, what's his name?
Izzy.
No, not Izzy. The
Wait,
two main characters,
we're talking Dean and Joe.
Dean and Joe. Right. I don't remember their names.
Yes.
Weirdly enough.
Dean is Taryn, Joe is Ansel.
Okay. So basically, they have to
Yeah,
fight the dad
for
who's
a
freaking
refresher.
out, but then he kills the dad, and they're just like, "This is what you're gonna do. We're gonna claim." They hide that body, and it's like, "This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna tell Izzy that we got his dad there, and we're gonna get him to give us the money, and then we'll tell what happened to his dad afterwards to try to get their company finally out of the hole." But when they're doing that, when one of them's doing that, he gets arrested for the murder, and it turns out the other guy ratted him out to the police to save himself from everything that was going on, like an asshole.
Well, even in his defense, I kind of get why he wanted to do it because he doesn't want to go to prison, obviously. But
But it does
like,
kind of
what a
go
shitty
against his
friend though,
whole.
just
He has that whole
rat him
speech
out.
about how he's like, "Do you know why people call me whatever his nickname was?" It's like, it wasn't because I actually started the fire. No, I was blamed for it, but I didn't rat out, and I'm not gonna do that. And then he did it anyway.
Yeah, and then the movie like basically ends with Ansel Elgort getting arrested, and then you get that just typical text with events that happened after the movie with where they are now, and
But for only the two main characters. The guy who
yeah,
squealed basically testified, was the start witness, and then went to witness protection program. And the other guy got charged life in prison for the killing of Kevin Spacey. But then the second murder, because the guy who confessed, he killed the dad. At least in the movie, he's shown to kill the dad, and he just pins him on the other guy as well. He successfully gets a hung jury, so he gets away. He doesn't get a charge for that murder, and he holds his innocence on both the murders apparently. And I don't know. I don't really have too much else to say about the movie other than just covering those basic plot elements.
yeah. I just love also like how like the movie does all of that, and then that's how it ended, and you're just like, really?
Poochie died on
Just
his way to his
it
home
ends like
planet.
that? Stupid.
Yeah, it is pretty dumb. I don't know. Maybe there's a post-credit scene where like Kevin Spacey rises from the dead or something.
No, I like basically exited out of the movie right after the second line of credits were hitting, not the like the whole text crawl happens, not like the ones you get right after the movie ends. And I was just like, yeah, I'm done.
All right. I guess that's everything we have to say about Billionaire's Boys Club.
Kevin Spacey's Billion Boys.
Kevin Spacey's Billion Boys Club. So I guess this is the part where we pick which of these two films was the better one of the two. And Cole, which film do you think was better? Was it Ghost Can't Do It or Billionaire Boys Club?
I would have to go Billionaire Boys Club.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was at least more entertaining in some sorts. It kind of grabs my attention at times. I just felt so bored to death watching Girls Can't Do It. I wish I was drinking during that one and instead of Billionaire Boys Club, but I did the opposite.
All right.
But yeah.
All right, for me it's a tough call because Ghost Can't Do It is a objectively worse film, but it definitely has more interesting things in it. While Billionaire's Boys Club is the more competent movie, but I felt it was kind of more boring in my eyes. But I think I'm gonna have to give the edge, the slightest of edge, to Billionaire Boys Club as well, mainly because they have the
Yes.
best scene where they kill Kevin Spacey, which I think there's a lot of people that were hoping for that in the movie, and we got it.
It would honestly have been funny if people went to see that in theaters and then they started cheering when he dies.
That they might have, maybe they got their money's
Be like,
worth.
yes, the pedophile's dead
Yeah.
in the movie.
Yeah, if Kevin Spacey didn't die in this film, I probably would have given it to Ghost Can't Do It.
I would agree with that too.
Yeah, but Kevin Spacey does, so that like gives the film a little bit more credit. So that's another point for the modern film. That's
And 1 point for
you
me
finally
also
got
in
one.
which I'm keeping count of, but it does feel unofficial.
It's unofficial. It's unofficial. It's officially unofficial.
It's our official, unofficial rankings.
Yep. But now that that's done, now it's time for questions, which we got from
Yes.
Discord, because we're kind of doing this episode kind of early before the episode, only a couple days after episode 2 came out. So sorry, YouTube comments. But we got about 5 questions. Some will probably be quicker than others. Let's start with the first one from our good friend Pawn.
Yes.
His question is, when will Pawn be a guest? Never, because we hate him.
Hey, I like Pawn.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
It was in the clause. If you're in Nefarious Reels, you can't like Pawn.
I don't remember reading that part of the contract.
Well, that's because you can't read.
It's not that I don't want to read. It's not like I can't read. It's just I don't want to.
Yeah, sure. That's why you hate foreign films, because you don't like reading subtitles.
I read subtitles on every movie.
But in all seriousness, I don't really know when we'll have you on as a guest, Pawn. There's kind of a lot to it. We'd have to corroborate a date where we're all readily available to do it, and it has to be at a time where I have enough time to edit the podcast. And even if we decide not to announce the episode before that we're having a guest, that still isn't a lot of time. And I think, because there is kind of like a lot of effort that kind of comes to like getting a guest, I feel like.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to communicate on that one a little more for whenever we're going to do a guest on here.
And like, no offense, but my biggest concern is I'm not sure if Pawn would actually watch the movies. Because I definitely feel like there is a possibility that he would come on, and when we go talk about the movies and we go to Pawn and he goes, lol, I didn't actually watch the movies. I think there's a chance that he would do that, and that would like tick me off so much, because that's the whole point, is to talk about terrible movies. But yeah, we'll have you eventually. We just we gotta figure something out, and you have to promise to watch the movies, because if you don't, I'll go where you are and I'll beat you up.
You're gonna dox him?
I'm not gonna dox him. I'm just gonna beat him up in real life.
Jesus.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I have to say, it's not about the content. It's about sending a message.
Oh no, this is your Joker moment.
This is my Joker moment. Pawn didn't watch the movies I recommended. Now I'm the Joker, baby.
Ah.
Next question is from JJ, who had a very simple one. Favorite food?
Ooh.
I was huge into burgers. I still kind of am. I don't eat them as much though, because they're not they don't agree with me as much as I used to when I was like younger, as a teen. As an adult now, if I eat a burger without like properly eating healthy earlier, it screws me over. Ironically, as a Californian, I don't really like avocado that much.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. My family is like huge into avocados, but I haven't. I've kind of come around to it a bit now that I'm older, but I'm still not the biggest like fan. Like, I'm not gonna have it like in a spread or something.
Oh,
like I can have like avocado in like a burrito.
Anyway, so.
What about you?
Ooh, guac on burritos are good.
Yeah, that is pretty good. Like, I can't have like guacamole on a chip or something, but I can have it if it's like part of like a whole like spread of things. What are some of your favorite foods?
It's a hard one to think about, mostly because I eat a lot, basically, because I run a lot, so I'm eating so many carbs and stuff. But one thing I always remember my mom cooking was pizza casserole was always good for dinner.
That sounds pretty good, actually.
Oh, they were so good. She would do that. Sometimes you do like hard shell tacos with chicken and peppers on it. Sometimes my dad will do like fajitas on the grill, and that's always super good. and then you get to put all your own toppings on there, like yeah, the peppers, onions, cheese, olives.
I'm also a fan of chicken fettuccine.
I love all types of pasta.
Yeah, I'm a decent fan of pasta. Do you like your pasta harder or softer?
Softer.
Yeah, same.
That's like all I did basically in college when making dinner. I would just do pasta, but then I would add like pesto and marinara, or like pesto and Alfredo sauce, and then I'll put like a protein on there, like chicken or tuna. And it always was done in like 5, 10 minutes. And I felt like a professional chef like that.
I
Even though
mainly ate
Gordon Ramsay would think amateur.
I mainly ate junk in my short stay of college, so how am I still alive is beyond me. Uh, Next question from Mattias. What are your favorite amusement parks, and what are some notable stories/experiences?
This one's gonna be a tough one for me because I don't really go to amusement parks, and I'm not the biggest fan of roller coasters.
That's fair. I live in California, and we got like Disneyland, we got a Six Flags, we got like a Knott's Berry Farm. We got a fair share. I've been through a handful of amusement parks, and I got like tales from pretty much each one, pretty much. Personally, I like Knott's Berry Farm. That's been a family favorite, and it's got a lot of interesting history too, which gives it more appeal over something like Disneyland or like Six Flags. Because it originally was just a berry farm, and then it slowly evolved into like its own like amusement park. And it's
Hmm.
also got the Peanuts characters, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
you can get a picture with Snoopy and everything. I don't know. I guess I can delve into a handful of interesting stories from the three main parks I've been to before. At Knott's, the when in middle school, if you were in band, we'd go to a competition, and then after that, we'd go to Knott's Berry Farm for like the rest of the day. And in sixth grade, when we showed up, there was like a show happening that we couldn't go into, but we can peek through the fences, and that's what I did. And I watched the whole show, and when I turned around, my whole group I was supposed to be with all like left and did their own thing. So it's just pretty
Oh,
much
that's like my nightmare.
I was
Getting
just
lost in public.
I was just by myself. Like I knew the time I had to like come back. So I just pretty much just walked around and rode to some different rides, and I did their log flume ride like 10 times in a row because the person there like did not care. Like cuz the people who were on the log flume was like, "Let's keep doing it." And then we'd be like, "Can we go again?" I was like, "Sure." And then they just let us keep doing the log flume. That was pretty awesome. How about you?
Actually,
Do you have any notable amusement park stories?
I don't know if you exactly call it a story, but I think the last time I was on like a roller coaster was in oh god. I know it's been over a decade. I think it's been like since 2009, and it was in the Mall of America at in Minneapolis.
Okay.
I forgot what it was called, but it's like the whole Nickelodeon area. I think it was called like Orange Crush or something. And I just remember like because they would have like those cameras where they take your pictures while you're on the ride, and I just remember my face just having these really concerned looking faces. It's not exactly a story, but it was just like I remember having fun on it, but my faces did not show the same
Did
expressions
you
per
like
se.
buy a souvenir photo of it?
No, I didn't do souvenir photo.
Oh, you should
They just have
have.
like the cameras of that you can see it, and then yeah, basically that happened.
You should have gotten if they offered it. You should have gotten a souvenir photo, and we could have used that in like this episode. Just get your concerned face. It'll come.
No, and there was another one where it was like the tilt-a-whirl, that tilt-a-whirl in it was at some kind of park in Green Bay area in Wisconsin, and I just had to close my eyes the whole time because sometimes when spinning around like that with all of that movement kind of makes me nauseous.
Oh,
So closing my eyes definitely helped make me not want to throw up.
that's good.
And I was pretty sure I was eating food there at the time too, so personally would have avoided that a lot more.
Here, let me give you. I'll give you a Disneyland tale.
Ooh, yes.
Another thing. Senior year graduation. You get to go to Disneyland, and I went there, and I was once again by myself because you didn't need a group this time around. So I just wandered the park by myself. Eventually, I ended up in line for a ride called the Thunder Mountain, which is like a fast train
Hmm.
ride. And I ended up like
Okay.
being like behind a group of like eighth graders, and I ended up like talking with them because like who else was I gonna talk to? and I end up hanging out with them for like 30 minutes. And then I end up going to the Haunted Mansion with them, and then they met up with their parents that were chaperoning. And it's just like, how incredibly awkward. I don't know who's more awkward for me, go hang out with a bunch of middle schoolers and meeting their parents, or the parents seeing this one high school senior graduate with a bunch of middle schoolers. But they were pretty calm about it. They even talked to me, and I was just like, so what's it like, being a graduate of high school? It's like, it's, nice. It was really awkward. And after the Haunted Mansion ride, I left that group because I just couldn't handle it. Also, it was getting dark, and they were kind of starting to close down the park, so I kind of skedaddled into California Adventure, which is like the alternate park that's also at Disneyland.
Yeah, my high school, we didn't have like a senior trip per se. We just had a senior skip day where half the class did it.
Did you skip?
No.
Oh, you were a good
It
little
was
boy.
it was very poorly coordinated about how we were gonna do it.
You
So
showed
that
up
was
to
just
school, it's
like,
like, oh, I thought the skip day meant we skipped everywhere.
no, I did not do that skipping either.
I'm gonna pretend that you did, because that's a funnier story.
My only like senior type week I would say in like high school was just really I did take a field trip though within like the last week or two. We went to a state park about hour and a half away from where I live, which was pretty fun. We spent like the whole day. We were there from like 7 a.m. till about 3:30 when we got back. Super fun, except the bus rides suck because you had to fit 60 people into a regular school bus.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, so I was sleeping on the floor, but I would use everyone's backpacks to like cushion myself.
Nice. All right. Our next
Okay.
question is from Timmy. Will you guys ever talk about Adam Sandler masterpieces like Jack and Jill or Grown Ups 2? Which is a great question
Yes,
because we've actually talked about who was gonna recommend Jack and Jill first. Yeah, definitely.
I would definitely say so.
I think it's really just a matter of like when one of us is kind of in the mood.
Like, who's gonna push the trigger first and
Who's
recommend
gonna
it?
pull the trigger? Well, I don't think I'll recommend Jack and Jill. I've already seen it. I already have one specific Adam Sandler film in mind that I want to recommend, specific because I heard that it's really awful, and I haven't seen it yet because I've already seen a handful of shitty Adam Sandler films. So I kind of want to go for something more different.
I was about to say, please do not be going overboard.
No. I don't. I'm not going to do
Because I know
Going
we've already talked
Overboard
about that one. Thank God. Because I
unless
don't
it
think I
gets a
can.
Blu-ray release.
I don't think I can muster another hour and a half of that movie.
If
I
Going
would rather
Overboard
die in Minecraft.
gets a Blu-ray release, I will recommend it because it's deserved.
And
Some
then I
dumbass
will
decided to give it
beat
a
you up.
1080p transfer of Going Overboard and selling it on a Blu-ray. I will buy it and I'll be like, "Hey, Cole, guess what? We're gonna be talking about this film." And then Cole's gonna
And
hang up, buy the first dox me, get the first plane ticket over where I live, and just beat the shit out of me. And then
or
we'll
swat
record the
you.
episode. And then we'll watch the
No, I'm
movie
gonna have my
together and we'll record the episode.
no. I'll dox you. Go to your house, and then I'm gonna Will Smith slap you, and then go back.
And he's like, keep the movie's name out of my podcast.
Yeah, I will be a very unhappy person if we do that one.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't think Going Overboard will be recommended for a very long time, if ever. So you have time for that venom to like seep out of your like veins. But yeah, I'm definitely down to do some Adam Sandler masterpieces. Jack and
I
Jill
will
will not be
definitely.
my first choice, but I do feel like it'd be one we'll discuss down the line.
Yeah, I've not seen Jack and Jill yet, so I would definitely like to watch that one. And I would totally love to revisit Grown Ups because I remember it like being 12 or I think I was 11 or 12 when the first one came out, and then about 14 when the second one did.
I remember
And thinking they were
loving
like the
Grown Ups
funniest
because I
things.
was a dumb kid. Who knows? Maybe I'll still find it funny now because I'm just a dumb kid in a grown up body. But
Yeah,
yeah,
we'll see.
answer the
But
question
Adam Sandler's got
eventually.
a good filmography to dissect,
Yeah.
except for Nicolas Cage.
I mean, we're gonna do a Nicolas Cage film one day too. That's gonna be TV's next question. When you guys will talk about the Nick Cage masterpieces. Final question, a more serious one. from Robert. What do you think makes tonal shifts work in some movies, but not in others?
Hmm.
In my mind, I think a tonal shift works best when that aspects of what the film shifts to is still present in the original tone.
I
It's
would also say it kind of depends on like who the director is too and how they're able to kind of transfer that tone over, I would say.
yeah, like give an example. Like what's a good director that does a good tonal shift?
Oh boy, on the spot.
Yeah, I mean we kind of have to
Oh
give our points.
jeez.
We'll edit it out. I'll make it sound like we thought of it instantly.
I just thought of one and what was it? Ryan Gosling. Oh, Place Beyond the Pines.
Never saw
It
that
has
movie.
I haven't seen it in like years, but I remember, well, spoilers for the movie. Do you care about the spoilers?
I think I'll live.
The whole movie's kind of marketed as as something with Ryan Gosling where he finds out he has a kid with Eva Mendes and then he wants to provide for this kid and the whole trailer makes it look like it's this going to be like this feud between him and Bradley Cooper who's a cop, but then Ryan Gosling dies in the end of the first act. And then it basically shifts over to then you're following Bradley Cooper after this whole situation happens and then you go like 10, 15, 20-ish years in the future and then you see their sons kind of talking to each other and then one of them finds out about what happened between their dads and how it gets passed down from generation to generation and from how I remember it being like done super well and just very interesting and how he was able to handle doing this kind of story is what I would say.
Yeah, that's a good one. You know, I thought of another film that also kind of when you think about it, The World's End.
Yes.
Like that has like mainly is a comedy, then kind of like really kind of switches gears to kind of more of like a midlife crisis kind of film where we kind of learn more about our characters and their plights.
Mm-hmm.
Or it starts as a comedy and kind of tonal shifts more to like this like sci-fi horror-ish movie
Drama kind of
and then
thing.
transitions. There's a lot of tonal shifts in The World's End, but they all work really well for the most part.
It's so good. It is so good. And especially when we got like those different types of characters, like especially in the beginning, you understand that Simon Pegg's Gary King is so much different from the other guys. Like they're a lot more successful. They got these better lives, and then Gary's kind of still this guy who's kind of living in the past, and he's trying to get that past back with them, and he's trying to finish the Golden Mile.
Yeah. Like just it falls into kind of like both our parts because the director who is Paul Thomas Anderson, isn't it?
Place Beyond the Pines, it's Derek Cianfrance, the
Yeah,
same guy who did
no,
Blue
no, the guy who
Valentine.
did The World's End, who I can't remember his name.
Edgar Wright.
Yeah, Edgar Wright. I'm gonna get shit on so hard in film club for because of that blunder.
Oh, Timmy is gonna. I might dunk on you, honestly,
I mean, you already
but not
can.
right now.
I mean, you can just like ruin my day with your recommendation at the end. But yeah, Edgar Wright. It kind of does fall into kind of like my example because kind of that midlife crisis esqueness. It is kind of in the beginning of the movie, like that tonal shift is kind of somewhat present at that beginning, and when it shifts over to that point. Uh, and basically, why does a tonal? Let's shift to the opposite end of our spectrum. We were talking about how it can work. How can it not work?
Oh,
And
jeez.
easily when it just happens out of nowhere with no like true actual kind of build up and it just completely clashes with what the film's been setting up, I guess.
Honestly, you could even say with like Ghost Can't Do It
Yeah,
with
I was
like how
about to
they
say let's
shift the
bring up
tones of the
Ghost Can't
story.
Do It.
It's
Because first the story you think is about going to be about like them presenting the body, and then tonal shift we're actually going to focus on like I guess the best way it says first it seems like it's going to be like a romantic drama, then you think it's going to be supposed to be a romantic comedy, then it just goes all over the place and it kind of loses itself.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it
it,
kind of forgets the identity it wants at points.
it definitely loses control of itself as it progresses in the movie. What's a more popular example of this? You know, we kind of went for the easy pick there. What's a more popular movie that kind of does that, or a more bad, well-known movie that does that?
Oh, brother.
You know, probably I don't know, maybe it doesn't fit, but Spiral. Because
Oh,
Spiral's supposed to
okay.
be kind of be like this like detective movie, but it tries to hit like all these like other horror elements, and it like really clashes, and those tonal shifts from the detective side to like the Saw elements just don't
The
like work at
horror
all.
Saw side and
I know some people
yes.
really do love that movie, but kind of when it gets from the detective and like the like mentioning about like how the kind of corrupt the police are and that brutality they have, and it really that tone clashes when it tonal shifts into the more Saw-esque elements of the film.
No, I totally agree with that one now because I remember seeing it first in theaters and was like, okay, it's a pretty decent Saw movie. But then I kind of like simmered on it and stuff was just not clicking with me. And then I rewatched it this past January, I think, when it was on digital and all that stuff. And just remembering that it just did not really work again this time around.
Like
It
it wants
does,
to be a good detective film and a good Saw film. I don't think those
yeah,
tones
while
can
having
really
like
work in the
police
story.
commentary in it too.
Yeah, and it just doesn't work. It's also probably having, Chris Rock probably wasn't the best choice to have in the movie.
Yeah,
I as well.
did you like the flashback where it's him with like the fake goatee with the backwards cap to show, oh, he's younger?
I don't remember that at all. The only really Chris Rock scene I remember is when it does like the crappy editing. You scream in the car, going,
Oh, with the screaming.
"Ah!" Yeah, that's like the one scene.
No, one I just thought of now that when you just mentioned that was not exactly a bad movie, but Last Night in Soho from Edgar Wright.
I have not seen it. I was meaning to see it for a while.
Oh, yeah, it just does this weird thing where it's kind of I don't know how to exactly explain it because I don't want to exactly spoil it for you because
Th-
it's so
then don't, because I do
interesting.
kind of want to see it. I'm interested because I hear people who really love it and people who really don't love it, and that makes me intrigued to check it out on my own.
Yeah, I'm like very mixed on it. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that then.
Yeah, those are some good
So you can go
examples.
in fresh.
Any other examples, good or bad?
There's probably other ones I can think of, but they're not coming to mind right now.
Yeah, same. I hope that answers your question, Robert. It was fun to have a more serious one than kind of some of these more lighthearted, jokey ones. But with that, that's the end of our discussion, and this is the part where we recommend a movie to be discussed next episode. And since I had the retro movie this week, or this episode, Cole, you get to recommend the retro movie for the next episode. Well, so what is your recommendation?
All right. So it took me a bit. I was kind of deciding between a few movies, but this one came to mind because this was a movie that was like one of the first, I guess, to first gain notoriety as a movie that first gained bad critical acclaim to it.
All right.
And a quote I found on Rotten Tomatoes was, "This film is so idiotic that it almost demands being seen how awful it is." And this movie is 1936's Reefer Madness.
Oh my god, I've been meaning to watch that. I'm totally picking up because I know there's a Blu-ray of that.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, yes,
Oh my god,
had
I'm
to.
actually really excited. I really want to watch that for a while now. Now since you did the modern movie this episode, I get to pick the modern film, and my recommendation is the film that I believe it came out in 2006. It actually just recently got a Blu-ray a few weeks ago, and that's actually kind of the reason why I want to talk about it because I've already technically seen it, but because it's got this recent Blu-ray release, it kind of made me go, "Ooh, I wanna watch it again. I'm gonna get this Blu-ray and now I have a podcast to discuss this kind of thing." I have a quote on the back of the box which might clue you in on what film this is, but the quote is from Possum Reviews: simultaneously the best and worst Sasquatch movie ever made. We are going to watch Suburban Sasquatch.
I actually do not know that one.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, it was on the Red Letter
No.
Media's Best of the Worst spotlight.
Oh, okay.
Well, it has a Blu-ray, so if you want to watch it in 1080p, the option's there now.
Hmm.
But yeah, if you don't want to get spoiled for Reefer Badness or Suburban Sasquatch, how about watching those in time for the next episode? And hey, if you want us to answer your questions How about maybe leave them in the Discord? I mean, well, yeah, you can ask us on Discord. You're probably already going to do that when we beg for it. But hey, leave questions in the YouTube comment section as well. And hey, we'll answer those questions too. And hey, leave a like and subscribe too, and all that fun stuff. And happy Morbius, everybody.
Happy
I stole it.
Morbius.
You can't steal my joke anymore, Cole. I got it back. Happy Morbius. Hashtag release the fart cut. Ghosts can't do it. Bye, everybody. Goodbye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.